Well, let's get more reaction now to what's going on, but also to the protests planned for today. Johnny Mercer, the Minister for Veterans Affairs, is here with me now. Very good morning to you. Thanks so much for coming in. So, really important day for veterans today, it being Armistice Day, of course. So, given that, how worried are you about how the day might play out and the risk of violence with these protests going on?
Well, look, I've got to be honest, I'm not really. I mean, I've worked hard with the police this week. The Prime Minister's worked hard with the police as well. They have the full powers they need. No one's going anywhere near the cenotaph. Clearly, we believe in the right of people to protest. And, I guess my message would be is that London is fully open and welcoming for all those who want to come up this weekend. And remember, it's a really special weekend for our community. And, it's really important to me that people aren't put off and they come up and that we pay our respects. There's elderly veterans who, may not be with us much longer. So it's really important to me people come up, and that's why I'm here today.
And the Prime Minister and the Home Secretary made it clear that they wanted the protests banned today. You feel differently then?
Well, no, I'm not sure. The Prime Minister made it clear he wanted it banned. I think the Prime Minister believes in people's right to protest.
He said it would be
provocative
and disrespectful if people did protest.
Yes, of course it is provocative and disrespectful, but at the same time, that's a different thing from banning things, right? And actually banning things is an operational decision for the police. It's not for the Home Secretary or for the Prime Minister to ban things. I agree with him. They are provocative and disrespectful, and I don't think there's any need to do it today. But at the same time, the sort of values that we fight for and we serve for in the military are important, and one of those is freedom of expression and freedom of speech, and people have the right to protest, however much we disagree with it.
The Home Secretary, though, described them as hate marches, and she talked about pro-Palestinian mobs. Is that the kind of language that you would use?
Look, I mean, the Home Secretary has her views, and she's in this all the time. For me, it's clear that it's safe for veterans to be here, right? And I want veterans to come up. I want people to sell poppies. I want people to be in stations and conduct remembrance in the usual way, because it's an extremely important time of year for us. The police are going to bend over backwards to make sure this weekend is safe. London's a big city. We can all peacefully coexist together, and people should come up and conduct remembrance in the usual way.
I noticed you didn't answer the question about whether you would use those words. And I'm interested to know how you think the Home Secretary has handled this, because she has been critical of the policing of protests. She's also called protesters pro-Palestinian mobs as well. And she's been accused of inflaming the situation. Do you think that it's right that if there was trouble that she should hold some responsibility for that?
Look, I think that's a separate matter to what we're talking about today. We're all responsible for what we say, but today, I'm here talking about why veterans should be coming to London. I think we've all seen what's gone on this week, and clearly we have to manage tensions, but like I've said, we can all peacefully coexist, and I think that London is going to be safe. I've spoken to the police, I've spoken to Mark Rowley myself. I know they're bending over backwards. They've got a really difficult job today, but I think we're lucky with our police in this country. We've got an exceptional police force, and they'll manage the challenges of today.
I'm going to ask you one more question about the Home Secretary, because I know it's causing a lot of Tory MPs to comment on it. That we've seen leaks of their WhatsApp messages, so people feel very strongly about it. What's your view? Do you think the Home Secretary should be sacked? It's not the first time that she's got into a bit of hot water.
Well, clearly, I mean, that has nothing to do with me at all.
No, it's not your decision, but what's your view, though?
Isn't it? I think the Home Secretary's done a good job over her time in the Home Office. This week has had unique tensions, but I think, as we approach remembrance, it's important to focus on what remembrance is about, because it is really important to my community. I'm a veteran myself, and I have met people this week who, have concerns, and that's why I'm here, because they don't need to have those concerns, and the police are going to bend over backwards to look after them. No one's going anywhere near the cenotaph, and it's a big city, and we can all peacefully coexist.
OK, I want to ask you a quick question about what's going on in Gaza, because we have seen the US Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, saying today or overnight that too many Palestinians are dying. Also, the French president has spoken out saying Israel needs to stop bombing babies. Does the UK agree? Are too many civilians dying in Gaza, do you think?
The UK's been really clear on this from the start, right? We believe in Israel's right to self-defence, extremely important, and Israel must operate within international law, and we're working hard to make sure they do.
Would you like to see the UK call for a ceasefire?
Look, I think the UK's position is absolutely spot on. We, believe in the right to self-defence. I think those who argue for the ceasefire haven't really interrogated what that argument means, right? And I think Israel has a right of self-defence, and I think need to make sure they're operating within international law. But we all feel the same. We see these scenes, and it hits us in the gut as much as anybody else. But we have to make sure Israel has its right to self-defence, and they operate within international law. It's a horrendous situation, and no one, we see it every day on the news, and no one wants this to continue.
OK, well, Johnny Mercer, Veterans Minister, we appreciate your time. Thanks very much indeed for coming by.